Hello, welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real, metaphysical, and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week, we're going to be discussing the 8th spirit of the Goetia Barbatos, so stay tuned. Okay, so this week we're going to continue our discussion on the spirits of the Goetia. I'm really glad you all started asking questions about these entities. I am really enjoying being able to share this information. And every time I do one of these videos, I also reach out and reconnect with one of these spirits, because it's always good to reconnect before I publish a video and talk about the spirit. And I also like to check my notes with them, make sure they're cool with what I'm sharing. So this has been a lot of fun for me, and I'm hoping you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. And if you are, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Also, if you're new to the channel, we'd love it if you'd hit the subscribe button and click that notification bell so that anytime we release a new video or if we go live, you're notified and you can stay in touch and catch up with all the information that we are sharing with all those who are seeking self-mastery of themselves and their lives here on Working Dragon Mystic. Also, speaking of the lives, we do go live every Friday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a lot of fun, so be sure to join us there. And if you like the work we're doing, we also do now have channel memberships where you get a lot of fancy perks, free spell working, members only live stream, member only video content, early access to classes, discounts to merchandise, all kinds of special little things that you get for the different levels and the different perks. Pick the particular level that suits you if you would like to support the channel. Now, with that boring stuff out of the way, let's get into it and talk about the 8th spirit of the Goetia. Alright, now, as I've already said, the 8th spirit of the Goetia is Barbatos. This is an entity that, honestly, I've always enjoyed his name. It sounds tropical, what can I say? In appearance, this one is actually one of the ones that has more of the simpler appearances in a lot of ways. He honestly commonly appears as a man with a thick, heavy black beard, or, well, I should say beard, because I've seen it change colors. Black seems to be common, but I have seen it change to all shades. And it is pretty unkept. It's pretty, it's not well manicured, I guess would be the term. Though he does often show up wearing a suit. Now the suit I've seen go from very, very well done, tailored, and good looking, to even a little withered around the edges, a little tattered, as if it's a old suit well cared for, but you can tell it's getting old and wear it at the hem. So yeah, he goes that whole little spectrum there when it comes to that suit. Now, interestingly enough, in a lot of artwork there is an argument. And I had to ask him about this one because I've never seen him with it. In the artwork, you often see him holding what could be a walking stick, or some people have called it a rifle. Now, this is a little odd because when you consider the Key of Solomon, the Goetia, and the era in which it was written, black powder, firearms, that stuff just wasn't there. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense for it to show up in the artwork. Of course, some people argue demons don't care about what humans have invented. They already know. And that is true. That is true. But in talking with him, he said originally it was a staff, though the artwork has gravitated and everything because it is a staff in which power is projected and fired forward, and thus it made sense that the artwork would later gravitate toward rifles, as muskets and the like were, of course, designed. And in the artwork it does look like a very, very, very simple flintlock musket, if that's what it is, because the artwork is, it could go either way. I've always said I'm not inclined to believe that artist meant a rifle. But for those who see this and see the image and they might see a rifle, I have asked Barbatos about it, and he did clarify that, so there you go. Either way that the image shows and appears to you, it's not wrong, so don't worry about that. Which brings us, of course, to the associations in the Goetia that are assigned to Barbatos. His rank within the Goetia is Duke. Again, this is within the Goetia and other demonic hierarchies, because there is no single set demonic hierarchy. It's based on traditions. This may vary. We're only talking about the Goetic hierarchy. The metal associated with Barbatos is copper. The planet would be Venus. His color would be green, and his element would be fire. So, again, you do see how that rifle could pull up there, because if you are talking about black powder style weapons, hey, fire is a great element to be a part of. So again, perhaps if it is supposed to be a rifle, perhaps it's an association of fire that the artist added in artistic interpretation. But then describing it as he did originally as a staff projecting power. When we're talking about massive projections of energy, fire often comes to mind. So again, in both sets here, the artistic representation would show up within the element. Sorry to ramble on about that particular thing. However, that brings us now to what are the areas, what are the skill sets in which Barbatos can help us in our own personal lives. First off, one of the big ones a lot of people talk about is understanding omens and coincidences, and more importantly, the difference. When I talk to Barbatos, he is actually always talking about how he wishes more people would take the time with this one. There are a lot of practitioners out there, no matter what it is, no matter what they see, they present it as an omen, a sign, and it could literally just be a coincidence, and they're reading too much into it. And I've seen people make life decisions on random things that have nothing to do with an omens, but they're going to take it that way, and then they go down a road that just, it takes years to course correct. So having an entity that you can sit down, talk with, and truly understand omens and coincidence, and even present them with the thing that you're thinking on, and help to understand omens and coincidences, is a game changer for a lot of people. Myself, I don't really pay a lot of attention to omens. My general thought process is, if I'm out looking for it, I'm going to find it, and that's usually a coincidence because you're just trying to find something to fit what you're feeling. But if I literally make a habit of refusing to look for them, if and when something drastic catches my attention, then when I go home and meditate on it, I feel it has a slightly more likelihood to have meaning. And I would still contact Barbatos or another entity like that to double check myself. That's my general rule of thumb and plan for such things. Next, make those in power notice you and give you respect. Okay, this is actually one of the big ones Barbatos is called on for. Now, when it comes to power, that word is used liberally here. This could mean your boss, your direct manager. It could mean anybody who has some power of authority over you that is slightly up above you in some way, professionally or in some hierarchy of any kind, really. And this will allow them to actually notice you as well as to give you respect. Now, in a career environment, this is an amazing thing because they will notice you and they will respect you. This could actually put you in line for promotions and raises and other great things. However, it has a side effect that people seem to forget. They will notice you and they will respect you. There is a little known fact about respect that a lot of people forget, and that is the fact that if you respect someone, you are openly and honest with them to the point you are actually more critical of what they do than everyone else around them. Because you respect them, you expect more of them because you know they're capable of more. There's that, and then there's the fact they notice you. So if you're a slacker at work and you're trying to get your boss to notice you so that you get that raise, you better be doing the work because everything you do, they're going to notice. So you could actually become your own worst enemy in this particular circumstance. Be careful with this one. I've seen a lot of people get themselves in trouble with that one. Be very careful with it. It is very powerful. It is very useful. And if you're seeking the path of true self-mastery, it shouldn't be an issue. But make sure you are doing the work and you do have that self-mastery before you turn this advantage into a disadvantage. Help understand how someone or thing might affect your future. Now this is great. In the last spirit, we actually talked about how things directly affect you, or what pathways or things, affect your future and how you can plot it out. Barbatos is great at focusing on a singular thing or person and ask how they're going to affect your future. Have you ever made that friend and is this a bad idea? And you're like, what the heck? I'm going to chance it. And then you need bail money. That sucked, didn't it? Probably a good friend, fun to hang out with, but you ended up needing bail money. With this, you can actually try to pre-screen, if you will, these the people and whatnot, and see how they might affect your future. So you can see how much trust or whatnot to put into them, how deeply do you want to embed them into your life, different things like that. And since it does talk about things, you can even look into, say, for example, how will purchasing this car affect my future? That's a huge one. I know a lot of people who make major purchases, they're worried about the future with good reason. And some people who don't worry and make major purchases, and then, it doesn't end well. So this is actually a really good one for a lot of people to look at. And perhaps I think one of the funnest ones, I know my wife loves this one. Barbatos can help you understand animals. Yes, this is not full-blown animal communication. Better, actually. This allows you to understand the animal and their actions and why they're doing things. Many times the actions and antics of an animal can tell us more about what they're thinking and feeling than anything else. And if we just understand that, and we understand their behaviors, and even the very instincts of the animal, you can build a much closer, stronger bond with that animal. For example, I've seen people try to make their cats vegan. That'll kill a cat. Cats are carnivores. Same thing with dogs. You should never try that. That is horrible. So understanding this animal and its natural habitat, its natural environment, its natural state of being is a massive way to truly get close to that animal and bond with it. And even through that understanding, there's going to be a natural communication build up, almost like you know what the animal's thinking, it knows what you're thinking, and you can communicate therein. But you really have to dive deep into that understanding to get there. And lastly, this is one that I do see people use. I've used it a time or two myself, but I honestly find all the ones previous far more useful. Find things that are hidden by magic, whether it be a glamour, whether it be a veil, doesn't matter. If magic is used to hide it or conceal it, Barbatos can help you locate it. Easy peasy, right? Alright, now with those things out of the way, you're probably going to want it. So let's go ahead and throw his sigil up here on the screen like we always do. And now with that sigil up, of course, let's get into the uns. I tripped over a lot of this earlier today trying to get ready for the video. So you know what? Let's just see how we do. Alright, let's have fun and see how we do with this. Again, the words are going to be on the screen here so that you can see it and not just have to rely on my pronunciation, but we're going to try all the same. Alright, and Barbatos' un is Eveta Fubin Barbatos. Eveta Fubin Barbatos. Eveta Fubin Barbatos. Eveta Fubin Barbatos. Hey, look at that. I didn't do too bad on that one. I'm actually kind of proud of myself. I'm glad you all got to be here for that, because I was really flubbing that up earlier this morning. At one part, Fubin became Fubar. I don't even know how that happened. I can't. If you don't know what Fubar means, I can't explain it here on YouTube. All right, which brings us to the closing and what everybody is always interested to hear about, my personal experiences with the entity. Personally, I have worked with Barbatos when seeking to understand animals and helping others do the same. I do love animals, particularly dogs. My wife is definitely a cat person. I'm not generally a cat person, though Barbatos has definitely helped me when we did have cats to really bond with the cats and get to understand them. And they were family. It got to the point they weren't so much cats as just family because I did understand them. And I weirdly have had a lot of clients come and ask for help magically with their pets. That wasn't something I ever thought would happen in my practice, but that did happen. And Barbatos was definitely the entity I went to a lot for helping to bridge that gap in order to help these animals and their families out every bit I could. He's even allowed me to help a located stray attempt to find its family. We were able to get enough information out to actually be able to locate the family that lost it and get the dog placed back with its home. I've also worked with him in times where meeting new professionals, and I wanted to make sure things went well. So in those scenarios, I did actually utilize his ability for people in power to show me respect and to notice me, because I have found that when meeting with a professional individual of any kind, if there's just a matter of mutual respect on the table, everything is going to gravitate and go so much easier. So even though they may not directly have power over me, they are at least in a position of power. And I've found that Barbatos is really great at making sure there is a mutual respect across the table, which is drastically helpful in meetings and negotiations and stuff like that. That is seriously the main reason I work with Barbatos, because I cannot tell you how much understanding, unity, growth, and just ease of negotiations and coming to an agreement is done when there's just a mutual respect on the table. It eliminates so much conflict. I've also found he is very good on clearing up what is and is not an omen for people and helping to explain them, which I did touch on back when we talked about it, but I do have a lot of clients who are always asking about omens. And Barbatos is usually the entity I go to clarify whether it is or is not an omen when someone does come to me and ask. So, if you're thinking about coming to me and asking, is this an omen or not, consider going out and reaching out and saying hi to Barbatos and asking him. He can help you just as well, because he's probably going to be the one I go to. Okay? Alright, so that's a quick rundown of Barbatos and my experience with Barbatos. I actually hope you reach out and chat with him and get to know him. If you have worked with Barbatos in the past when it comes to the whole staff and rifle debate, I know it's not important, but I think it'd be fun to find out how many people have seen a staff, how many people have seen a rifle, or like me, have you never actually seen neither in his hand, but what about the artwork? What have you noticed in the artwork? I think that would be fun. And if you have worked with Barbatos in the past, what are some of the things you've worked with him for, and how did that go for you? I'd really be interested to hear that as well. It's always great to hear other people's experience with these entities. I've always had a great relationship and experience with the Goetic entities, and I hope you all take the time to reach out and get to know them and attempt to build a friendship and relationship or working relationship with them. Okay? Remember, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified anytime we release a new video here on the channel or we go live. And if you are interested in more content like this and you would like to support the channel and the work we do in trying to get more information out to all the seekers, please consider hitting the join button below, where you can sign up as a channel membership for the channel member benefits, and it does help support the channel. Every bit of it goes back to growing the channel and helping us to reach more and more people. That is the goal here, self-mastery and self-mastery of life. I truly believe if you have those two things, there's nothing you can't do and achieve, and you will live a prosperous, happy life that suits you. Alright? You all have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time. I'm Drake, and this has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.